Welcome back to Tier Maker. I would like to thank Tristan for giving me the idea to this video. And today we are going to be ranking the Office characters. And I think I have a strong opinion on how each of these characters are. Okay, so Michael Scott, first of all, iconic character, S tier. You don't get better than Michael Scott. When he leaves the show like it just dies. The Office is pushed forward by Michael Scott. It is a show about Michael Scott. He is the main character. Oscar is a B tier character in my opinion. He has some good moments, but he's just not consistent enough. Like, he has some uncut gems in there, but he's just not a stable character. David Wallace is definitely C tier. He's so fake. He's so mean to Michael. And when he goes down and corporate goes down, I was happy, if I'm honest with you. Gabe, D tier. This guy creeps me out, and I just didn't like him at all in the show. He just gives me the creeps. Jim Halpert is A tier. Now I know this probably is shocking to you, but I think Jim Halpert is A tier. The thing that is keeping him away from being S tier is towards the end, like season 6, season 7 area, when the show's like getting towards the end of its middle stages, when it was really good, he starts to lose what he is at the center of being Jim, and I feel like the character gets lost a little bit when he goes to Philadelphia. Kevin Malone is an S tier character because Kevin has probably some of the best moments in the show. I think the best opening is when he drops this chili all over the floor. I think that's excellent. I think that's just one of the best parts of the entire show. Joe Bennett is C tier because there's a direct correlation with when Joe Bennett is in the show, like from when Joe Bennett is first introduced to when the show starts to decline. So I guess by that logic, David Wallace should be B tier. But yeah, Joe Bennett and the Sabre products, as soon as they bite Dunder Mifflin, in my eyes, the show starts to get worse. Phyllis is also a B tier character. I don't like listening to her speak. When it's just her in front of the camera, I usually just have to discount what she says, and I just don't. She's not a character that moves the needle for me. This girl is C tier. I don't remember her name, but I think it's Millie or something like that. But she's just not a good character. Useless in the show, and doesn't provide anything. The reason why she's not D tier is because D tier is reserved for people like Gabe and Charles. I think Charles is also a D tier character because this is probably why it was written this way, but when he is the boss, just the show, it's like 5 episodes when he's in charge, and the show just grinds to a halt. Like, it's just nothing good happens. This tech guy, like, nothing memorable about him. I don't even know his name, but yeah, nothing memorable about him. Mose is A tier. Mose is legendary because Mose gives Dwight something, like, extra stuff to talk about, and I just find him such a fascinating character who is underrated in the show. Hank, the security guard, is C tier. Just doesn't do anything for me. Todd Packer is B tier because he is underused, in my opinion. Like, he's not quite like Mose. He's underused, and Mose is referenced more often than Packard is, and Packard's just underused and not used well enough in his role. But I think what he does, he's good for what he does. Stanley is A tier because Stanley is a character who I think a lot of people really enjoy, myself included, and his little quips are quite phenomenal. Holly Flax, C tier character. I don't like Holly Flax. I just don't like her because whenever she's there, life just seems to be a little bit too good around because you don't have that tension between Michael and Toby. Pam, S tier character, because Pam is the character that you're meant to really, one of the characters you're really meant to fall in love with per se, because she is the receptionist you have to cheer for because she's underappreciated and is trying to make it as an artist, so you want to cheer for her all the time. Daryl is also an S tier character because I think Daryl, between his character development and the actor, I can't think of the actor's name, but great actor, Craig Robinson is the guy who plays Daryl, sorry. And I just think Daryl's a really good character. Roy is D tier because I just think he doesn't serve a purpose in the show other than being the loser ex-boyfriend that can be referenced between Pam and Jim. Dwight, S tier character. I think Dwight is also part of what pushes the show forward because Dwight's antics really create a little bit of banter at the start of episodes especially, and is usually a part of what all the moments of The Office that I find funny. Angela is C tier. I think Dwight can do better, and I just don't like her. Just don't like her. Erin is between A and S tier. I really like Erin. I'm gonna go with A tier because it takes her probably, like, her character doesn't really grow into that S tier character until it takes too long, honestly, for me to care about Erin. Like, it takes about half a season for Erin to start to matter. And I think that she is a perfect A tier character because she's super enjoyable. She would be S tier if her character is more impactful from the beginning. Bob Vance, B for Bob Vance. He is probably overused. He's overused for what he is. And I think he's an okay character. I just think he's just set up to fail. This guy is, I don't even know who this guy is, so for that reason he gets D tier. I think he's one of the interns from one of the summer programs. I can't think of his name. Robert California is a C tier character because of... Robert California is B tier. Because I think Robert California brings something that is just so intellectually challenging, or he's sort of like Ben Shapiro, where he's like big man who says strange things, therefore is smart. So he says a lot of stuff that just means nothing, and people are like, oh wow, it's the Ben Shapiro effect. Karen Filippelli is a D tier character. I don't like Karen at all, despite how attractive she is. I think that she's just a roadblock for the plot, and I think she does nothing except get in the way, and every time she opens her mouth, I feel sad inside. Kelly Kapoor, B tier character, because Kelly is good in that she provides some problems around from time to time. She also is one of the people who helps push the plot occasionally. Like, she can carry the story, but I also find her a little bit irritating and just generally not all that relatable. Ryan Howard is A tier. I like Ryan. I don't know why. I can't qualify why I like Ryan. I just do. I think he's actually, I'm gonna move him down to B tier because for the first, I think, 3 or 4 seasons, until after he comes, like, when he goes to corporate is when he's like really, really good, and when he comes back to Scranton, I think is when he loses his touch as a character. And the last 4 or 5 seasons where he's in the show, he's just a nothing character who doesn't do anything. So for that reason, Ryan Howard's B tier. Meredith, C tier. I don't really like Meredith. Never really been a big fan of her. She's goofy, and I can respect that, but just not my type of character. Creed is S tier. I love Creed. Just the random little one-liners and quips and random things that he says where you're like, wait, what? Just makes him an S tier character. Jan, also a C tier character, because I think she just pushes Michael around, and I don't really have much respect for who she is and what she does for the story. Like, she doesn't really do much. It's basically just Jan is like Roy, except the reason why Jan is C tier is because you can see her reason in the plot. Like, Roy also has a reason, it's just way less defined. Andy Bernard is S tier for sure. He's the underdog that everybody can cheer for, and I don't understand people who don't like Andy, because I think Andy is the character I can most closely relate to in the show. Although what I will say is Andy, until he goes to anger management, is not a good character. Toby Flenderson is C tier because he is underused in the show and somehow overused at the same time. Like, whenever Toby comes in, you're like, hey, it's Toby, and then Toby starts to talk, and you're like, okay, that's enough. So yeah, and then you got DAngelo Vickers, which I think is just D-tier character. One of, in my opinion, Will Ferrell's worst performances as an actor. Okay? I just think he is absolutely terrible, and every time you see him, it's just a reminder that Michael Scott is gone. So yeah, that is my definitive Office rankings. I'm sure I'll be canceled for this, and I cannot wait. So I will see you probably this weekend, maybe next week. I got a video that'll be coming out then.